Hello students, so I am going to discuss today's zoology paper of NEET 2026. So, here question number 91, match the list with list 2. So, list 1, genetically modified organism, thermostable DNA polymerase, TI plasmid and PBR 322. Okay. So, genetically modified organism, we know it is Bt cotton, right? And thermostable DNA polymerase is Taq polymerase, which is extracted from the bacteria Thermus aquaticus. So, A should be 2, B should be 3, A 2, B 3, only one option is there. So, answer here will be second one. TI plasmid will be Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So, in this bacteria you can find the TI plasmid, tumor inducing plasmid, and PBR 322 Escherichia coli. So, here answer is 2. Next question is alpha helix is found in which level of protein structure, right? I am discussing paper code number 13, okay. So, question number 96, alpha helix is found in which level of protein structure? Alpha helix and beta pleated, right? These two structure we can see only in the secondary structure. So, secondary structure of protein consisting of alpha helix and beta pleated. So, they are asking about alpha helix, so answer will be 1. Next, question number 100. Which of the following statements are not true regarding restriction endonuclease? Okay, not true. Here very important is not true. Now, they are called as molecular scissors. They are true. It is true. They are called as molecular scissor or molecular knife. These are the enzymes responsible for restricting the growth of bacteriophage in E. coli. That is also true. That is why they are called as restriction enzyme. They cut the DNA only at the center of the palindromic sequence. Here it is wrong. Now, the restriction endonuclease can produce two type of ends, right? Staggered end and blunt end. In case of blunt end, it is true that the DNA only at the center of the palindromic site. The restriction enzyme will cut the DNA at the center, then it will produce the blunt end, right? So, if this is the sequence, here one cut, here one cut. But if the restriction enzyme is producing sticky end, then one cut will be here, one cut will be here in the palindromic sequence. So, I can say C is wrong. Next, they remove the nucleotide only from the end, again only from the end, no restriction endonuclease can cut anywhere in between the DNA. So, D is also wrong. So, the answer here will be 1, no need to see E. They recognize specific palindromic base pair sequence, that is true. So, this C and D are wrong. So, answer will be 1. Next, question number 105. Okay. Arrange the following step of somatic hybridization in a correct sequence. Somatic hybridization where we are fusing two protoplast, right? So, now see what we need to do. Suppose this is the 2 cell. Okay. I need to fuse their protoplast. I need to fuse their protoplast. So, first what happened? First I need to isolate these 2 cells from the source. Suppose this is the tomato and this is potato, right? So, I have isolated the tomato cell and I have isolated the potato cell. So, isolation of single cell from 2 different varieties of plant, this should be step number 1. Then what happened? I need to remove the cell wall. So, digestion of the cell wall. Okay. Then once the cell wall is removed, cell minus cell wall is protoplast. So, now the 2 protoplasts are isolated. So, first we need to check, first one should be D and second one should be A. So, how many options says like this? So, only one option, DA. Then isolation of naked protoplast and then fusion of the protoplast to get a hybrid protoplast. So, I need to fuse them by using PEG or polyethylene glycol. So, I will get a hybrid. Okay, then growing of the hybrid protoplast to form a new plant. So here answer will be fourth one. Next is, which of the following statements are correct regarding amino acids? Okay, so amino acids are what? The general structure we are writing like this. This is the R, NH2, COH, and here it is H. And when you will see the methane, this is methane, right? CH4. So here what happened? This H is replaced by COH, this H is by this H by R. That means we can say amino acids are what? They are substituted methane. True. Serine is an aromatic amino acid. Serine is an alcoholic one. So it is wrong. Valine is a neutral amino acid. Yes, valine is neutral. True. Glycine, valine, they are neutral. Lysine is an acidic amino acid. It is alkaline, basic amino acid. So, which of the following statements are correct? Correct is C is correct, A is correct. A and C. Answer is fourth one. Next, match the list. Okay. Trypsin. Trypsin we know it is an enzyme. Right, protein digesting enzyme. Morphine. Morphine is an alkaloid. Concavenaline A, that is a secondary metabolite, lectin. And collagen, it is present in the intercellular ground substance. Okay. So let us check A3, A3B4, A3B4. Answer is 1. Okay. Next, identify the correct statement about biomolecules. Okay, lipids are generally water soluble. We know that lipid or fat are what? They are water insoluble. So it is wrong. Proteins are polypeptide. Yes, proteins are the polymers of amino acids. This is true. Polysaccharides are long chain of sugars. Yes, polysaccharides are not sugars, right? Polysaccharides are not called as sugars, but they are made up of sugar, right? Monosaccharides. So it is true. Adenine and guanine are substituted pyrimidine, and here you can see E. Almost all enzymes are proteins. That is true with few exception. If you will see the exception, that is some RNA can act as enzyme. So here we know clearly that B is correct, C is correct, and E is correct. So if you will see B, C and E, the answer is third one. Adenine and guanine are substituted what? Purines. Next, identify the correct sequence of steps in each cycle of PCR. Okay, in PCR what happened? First we need to denature, right? We have to take a double stranded DNA and we have to increase the temperature to 95 degrees Celsius so that they will be single stranded, right? This is called as denaturation. Then when you will reduce the temperature to 55 degrees Celsius, the primer will be attached. And then when you will increase the temperature to 72 degrees Celsius, this primer will be extended. So denaturation, primer annealing and extension. So the answer is second one. Next, which of the following statements are correct with respect to DNA separation, isolation and visualization? Okay, which statements are correct? The cutting of DNA is done by molecular scissors. Yes, true. Restriction endonuclease we are using. The DNA fragments separate according to their size in an agarose gel upon electrophoresis. That is also true. Based on their charge and size, they will be resolute on the gel, right? That is true. The separated DNA fragment can be seen without staining. No, we have to stain it with ethidium bromide. So this statement is wrong. The separated DNA fragments when stained with ethidium bromide can be seen in UV light, right? So this is also wrong. So which one is correct? A and B are correct. So answer is 1. Next, again match the column. So, list 1 is the name of the organism and list 2 is the respiratory structures. So, mollusk they respire by their gills. So, we can say it is the brachial respiration. Reptiles, pulmonary respiration only, they respire through the lungs only because they are true land vertebrate, right. Adult amphibians, they can perform pulmonary as well as cutaneous respiration, and amoeba goes to cellular respiration. Okay. So, A should be 2. So, this 2 eliminated, A2, B1, C is 4. So, answer is 4th one. Next, insertion of a foreign DNA at BAM-HI site in an E. coli cloning vector PBR322 result in the loss of antibiotic resistance towards. You know that in PBR322 there are 2 antibiotic resistance genes are there, that is AMPAR and TETAR. AMPAR PST1 and PVU1, whereas TETAR is BAM, HI and SAL1, right. So, when you will use BAM H1, so you are cutting out tetracycline resistance gene, right. So, the bacteria will lose the antibiotic resistance towards tetracycline. Third one is the answer. What is the reason behind the production of large hole in Swiss cheese? We know it is due to the large amount of carbon dioxide produced by a bacteria, Propionibacterium sermani. So, third one is the direct answer. The production of large amount of carbon dioxide by Propionibacterium sermani. Next, which of the following is not an example of convergent evolution? That means, which of the following is an example of divergent evolution? So, convergent evolution is what? Origin is different, function is same, right? Whereas divergent, origin, embryonic origin is same, but function is different. So, here it will be first one. So, first one is an example of what? Divergent evolution. Forelimb of whale and bat, because both are mammals. Okay. Arrange the following event occurring in renin-angiotensin mechanism in correct order. Okay. RAS mechanism they are asking. RAS. We know that RAS mechanism is activated when our GFR falls. Suppose a person met with an accident, 1 liter of blood is lost, okay, or due to heavy sweating, amount of water is lost in the form of sweat. So, then what happens? GFR will be reduced. So, when the GFR is reduced, your RAS mechanism will be activated. So, what is the trigger? Trigger is fall in GFR. Okay, that may be due to the decrease in blood pressure or blood volume. So, why GFR decreases? Either your blood pressure decreases or blood volume decreases. So, let us see. Fall in glomerular filtration rate, yes, this should be the first one. So, how many options say C is first? So, eliminate first one, eliminate third one. So, now A should be there or E should be there, that is our question. Increase in the blood pressure and glomerular filtration rate, this should happen at the end. This is the end result of RAS mechanism, because your RAS mechanism is activated when GFR falls, right. So, once it is activated, what is the ultimate goal of RAS mechanism? To restore GFR. How? By restoring the blood pressure and blood volume. So, A should be at the end. So, answer should be fourth one. So, first is C, followed by E, renin convert angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1 followed by angiotensin 2. Then it should be D. So, angiotensin 2 is a strong vasoconstrictor. So, vasoconstriction by angiotensin 2 and release of aldosterone. Angiotensin 2, when it constricts the blood vessel, blood pressure will increase, and aldosterone will act on your DCT to absorb sodium and water. So, thereby increasing the blood volume, and ultimately your GFR will be restored. So answer here will be fourth one. Next, in human, respiration occurs in the following steps. Arrange these steps in the correct order. Okay. So now see here, suppose this is your lungs, alveoli, is a blood vessel underlying, and this is the tissue. Okay, and this is the atmosphere. So in respiration, first what happens? From the atmosphere we take air into our lungs and throw carbon dioxide rich air. That means the exchange of gases between atmosphere and your alveoli is called as pulmonary ventilation or breathing. So breathing should be first. So pulmonary ventilation, by which atmospheric air is drawn in and carbon dioxide rich alveolar air is released. So this should be first one. After that what happened? From the alveoli, oxygen will diffuse into the blood and carbon dioxide goes out. So the exchange of gases between alveoli and blood vessel is called as external respiration. So diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide across alveolar membrane, this is external respiration. Then this oxygen will go near to the tissue. So oxygen will enter and carbon dioxide will come out. This is called as internal respiration. So diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide between blood and tissue, third one. And then whatever the oxygen will enter here, it will oxidize glucose to give energy, that is called as cellular respiration. Okay. Okay, here transport of gas by blood is also given. So after this pulmonary ventilation, what happened? External respiration. After external respiration, the oxygen will be transported. So transportation will be coming. So this should be third one. And this should be fourth one. And then finally the oxygen will be used to oxidize the glucose. So this will be the fourth one. So let us see. So don't need to read till 4. I think first and second only will decide the answer. CB. Answer is third one. CBEAD. So answer is here third one. Next. The following reaction depicts the activity of a particular class of enzyme. This is directly NCERT diagram. This is what? Lyases. Lyases are the enzyme which breaks the biological compound without adding water. Okay. So it is lyase. Next. Match the list. So bioactive molecule and their biological significance or importance. Streptokinase. Streptokinase, removal of clot from the blood vessel. Statin is a blood cholesterol lowering agent. Lipase are detergent formulation, and cyclosporine A is a immunosuppressive agent. So A to B3. A to B3, okay. So eliminate this, eliminate this. C is 1 or 4, C is 4, detergent formulation. So answer is third one. Next. Arrange the following cell layer or structure around the female gamete from outer to inner side. Okay. So from inside if I will draw, this is the plasma membrane or ulema, then zona pellucida and then corona radiata. But they are asking from outside to inside. So first one should be corona radiata, then should be zona pellucida, then perivitellin space, and then plasma membrane. So plasma membrane should be at the end, and first one is corona radiata. So answer will be CABD. CABD. Answer is 4. Next. Match the list 1 with list 2 related to muscular skeletal system. Okay. So here list 1 they have given some list of diseases and the symptoms. So tetany. Tetany is what? Is a wild contraction in muscles due to low calcium in the body fluid. Arthritis. Arthros means joint. Tis means inflammation. So arthritis is easy. I can say B should be 1, inflammation of joint. So how many B1 is there? Only one option says. Anyway, A is 3 as I told. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder and muscular dystrophy is the progressive degeneration of the skeletal muscle. So answer is here 2. Next, the toxin protein isolated from Bacillus thuringiensis coded by which of the following gene would control cotton bollworm and corn borer? Okay. So corn borer is what? Cry1 AB. Whereas cotton, there are 2 genes, that is Cry1 AC and Cry2 AB. Okay. So first we need to write cotton and corn. Corn is Cry1 AB, Cry1 AB. Answer is third one, Cry1 AC and Cry1 AB here. Next, the juxtaglomerular apparatus is a special sensitive region formed by cellular modification in dash related to the same nephron. Okay, juxtaglomerular apparatus, how it is formed? Suppose this is your nephron, PCT, loop of Henle, and this is DCT, and this is CD, collecting duct. Okay. Now, here what happened? Your afferent blood vessel is coming and efferent is going. Right. So this is the afferent one, afferent vessel, and this is your DCT. So here what happens? Juxtaglomerular apparatus is formed by the modification of the smooth muscles of the afferent arteriole and the cells of the DCT, which is called as macula densa, and this is the Pulky cell, right? So here answer will be distal convoluted tubule and afferent renal arteriole, third one. So this together is called as juxtaglomerular apparatus. Next, choose the correct statement regarding frog anatomy. Okay, we have to choose the correct one. Hepatic portal system is a special venous connection between liver and intestine. Okay, true. There are 12 pair of cranial nerves. 12 pair of cranial nerves they don't have because they are amphibians. They are having 10 pairs. So it is wrong. The ureters and oviduct open separately in cloaca in female frog. True. Choose the correct statement. Hindbrain consists of cerebellum, medulla oblongata and optic lobes. That is wrong. Sinus venosus joins the right atrium. This is true. So A, C, E are true. Yes, fourth one. This is the direct question. Next, match the list. Cortisol, aldosterone, cholecystokinin and progesterone. These are the hormones and their effect. So cortisol. Cortisol is what? Stress hormone, and it reduces inflammation. It is having some anti-inflammatory effect. It reduces WBC but increases RBC. So produce anti-inflammatory reaction. Okay, A is 2. How many A is 2 options are there? 2 options. So I have to eliminate B, third one and fourth one. No need to check B. Directly I am coming to C. Cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin is the hormone produced from our GIT. Right. So it should be 1 or 4. Stimulate the formation of alveoli in the mammary gland. No, never. So it stimulate secretion of pancreatic enzyme and bile juice because it is secreted from GIT. So C should be 4. C should be 4 means the answer is 1. Next. Male frog can be distinguished from the female frog due to the presence of. So what is present in male which can be used as a distinguishing feature, okay, that can be used to identify which one is male and which one is female. So vocal sac, yes, the males have vocal sac, so that is why croaking sound they can produce. Then webbed digit, no, both are having copulatory pad on the first digit of the forelimb to hold the female during the pseudocopulation, right? So B and D are correct. So answer is third one. Next. The human protein named alpha-1 antitrypsin obtained from transgenic animals is used in the treatment of, it is a direct question, emphysema. Third one. It is obtained from transgenic sheep. Okay. Match the list. Here are the drugs and their effect. Nicotine. Nicotine actually generally present in cigarette smoke and all. So they stimulate the adrenal gland and release catecholamine into blood circulation. So it is a stimulant actually. So A should be 2. Morphine. Morphine is a sedative used as analgesic, painkiller. So B should be 3. Heroin. Heroin is also depressant because it is diacetyl morphine. So depressant. And cocaine cause the sense of euphoria and increased energy. Okay, so answer is A 2, B 3. Eliminated, eliminated. C is 4. So answer is fourth one. Next. The WBC count of a person's blood sample is 8,000 per cubic mm. How many eosinophil and lymphocyte would be in the same blood sample? Okay. Lymphocyte actually what happened? The percentage is 20% to 40%. So directly you can calculate. So 20% of 8,000 is 20% of this one is around 160. Uh, 1600, yes, 1600 to 20% of 8,000 is what? 1600 and 40% is around 2000. So lymphocyte count will be 1600 to 2000. Only one option is there. Yes, so answer is fourth one. And eosinophil, if you will see, it is 1 to 4%. So answer is fourth here. Next, match the list. Okay. About, these all are NCERT data only. About 65 million years ago, what happened? Dinosaurs extinct. A should be 2. Okay. And then A should be 2. So I have to eliminate first one. I have to eliminate fourth one. B no need to check. I don't want. C I have to check whether 3 or 1. C is around 350 million years ago. What happened? Jawless face probably evolved. C should be 1. And D would be 3. About 320 million years ago, seaweed and few plant probably existed. So answer is third one. Next. Again match the list. Progestasert. Progestasert is what? It is a hormone releasing IUD. And Multilode 375 is a copper releasing IUD. So answer is A3, B4. A3, okay, A3, B4. So I have to eliminate this, eliminate this. Now diaphragm is 2 or 1. Diaphragm is a what? A barrier method of rubber used by females, and Saheli is a oral contraceptive. So C should be 1. Answer is fourth one. Saheli is the oral contraceptive. Next. The following are the stages of life cycle of Plasmodium. Arrange the stage in the proper order. Okay. So generally how the Plasmodium enters into our body. So when a female mosquito, female Anopheles bites you, okay, from the salivary gland it will transfer the sporozoites into our blood. Then from our blood what happens? Within an hour they will be disappear from our blood and they will enter into liver. Why? To escape from the phagocytic action of our WBC. So let us check. Sporozoites reach liver. Female mosquito injects sporozoites. Yes, E should be first one. Then sporozoid reach the liver through blood. that is 2. So let us check ED, only one option says third one. Okay. Next, match the list. Okay, this is the sequence of development of a human embryo and this is the timeline. Okay, the fetus movement starts and hair appears on the fetal movement is a very significant event which will occur on the 5th month, right? 5th month means week, means it is 20 weeks, right? So A should be 2. The fetus develops limbs and digits. Limbs and digits are formed by the end of the second trimester. Second trimester means 8 weeks. Sorry, by the end of the second month, not second trimester, second month. The fetus develop limbs and digits by second month, and by the end of the first trimester almost all major organs are formed. Okay. So the fetus develop external genitalia means it will be at the end of the first trimester. First trimester means 12 week. The fetus body is covered with fine hair, eyelids, separate eyelashes are formed, that is 24 week. So let us check A to B3. Oh, A to B3 only one option says, C is 4 and D is 1. So answer is 2 here. Next, the flightless birds with forelimbs modified as paddle-like structure suited for swimming. It is talking about penguin. So penguin is what? Scientific name is aptenodytes. Select the incorrect statement from the following. Okay, you have to find the incorrect statement. Digestive system in platyhelminthes is incomplete. True. So complete digestive system has 2 opening and associated with digestive glands. So platyhelminthes, they are having incomplete. Bilateral symmetry is the characteristic feature of adult echinoderm. They are having pentaradial symmetry, right? So B is wrong. Okay, let us check. A is correct, B is wrong. We have to find the wrong one. Okay, so answer is this one or this one, because I know B is incorrect. So directly we have to check E and D. Member of class Reptilia maintain constant body temperature. They are not homeothermous, they are poikilothermous, right? Reptilia. So E is wrong. So answer is directly I can go with second one. B and E are incorrect. Next, a group of researchers procured some fish-like animals and upon investigation, the following characteristics were observed. Okay, endoskeleton was made up of cartilage, fine. Ectoparasite, they were found attached on fish skin and their circular sucking mouth. So this is talking about cyclostomata. So cyclostomata, in the class cyclostomata we know there are 2 examples, petromyzon and myxine. So answer is third one here. Next, choose the correct statement regarding muscles contraction. Okay, we have to find the correct statement. A motor neuron carries a signal sent by central nervous system to the sarcolemma of the muscles fiber. True. The neural signal generate an action potential which cause the release of calcium into the sarcoplasm. True. Increase in calcium ion inactivates actin. No. Actin binds to myosin head to form cross bridge. Here there is a doubt. What doubt? Here in NCERT says that the cross bridge is formed by myosin head with actin. That means myosin binds with actin. So many students stuck in option number D. But if you will see the combination in the options, whatever they have given, it can be easily eliminated. How? Let us see. I am confident A is correct and B is correct. Now E is what? Shortening of sarcomere takes place by pulling actin filaments towards the center of A band. This is also true. Okay. So now I don't know whether D is correct or wrong. But if you see the option A, B, E, there is no options A, B, E. So only one option available with you, that is fourth one. So A, B, C, D, E only. So answer here will be the fourth one. So here we have to understand the cross bridge. Cross bridge is formed, that is due to actin and myosin binding. Okay. Now who will pull or who will glide over what? That actin filament glide over myosin. Okay. So here we have to consider this statement as correct. So answer will be fourth one. Next, choose the correct statement regarding gift to overcome infertility. Gift. Gift means what? It is fertilization is in vivo. Okay. So ova collected from female donor are transferred to the uterus. Ova is not transferred to the uterus. It always transferred to the fallopian tube. So it is wrong. Early embryos up to 8 blastomere are transferred. That means here we are talking about the zygote. Fertilization happened outside. So this is wrong. This is applicable for ZIFT. Early embryos up to 8 blastomere, again this is wrong. It is the transfer of ovum collected from donor into the fallopian tube of another female who cannot produce ovum but can provide the suitable environment for fertilization and development. The answer is fourth one. Next, which of the following statement are correct with reference to human endoskeleton? Okay, human endoskeleton. Human skull is monocondylic. No, we are having dicondylic skull. Dicondylic means the occipital bone is having two articulation point into which the atlas fit, right? So we are having dicondylic skull. The joint between any two adjoining vertebrae is a cartilaginous joint. True. In human being, the number of cervical vertebrae is 7. True. All ribs except last two pairs are bicephalic. Bicephalic means what? If you will see the cartilage, ribs, it is C-shaped flat bones. Now on the dorsal side, which is attached to your vertebral column, on dorsal side there are two articulating points are there. So due to the presence of these two articulating point, it is called as bicephalic. So all our ribs are bicephalic. So it is wrong. The occipital bone of the skull is articulated with atlas vertebrae. True. So B, C and E, true. So answer is second one. Next, spermatogonia undergo a series of cell division to produce sperm. Select the correct statement from the following. Okay, spermatogonia always undergo meiotic cell division. No, spermatogonia what happened? In multiplication phase, they undergo mitosis to produce huge number of spermatogonia. So this statement is wrong. A is wrong. Primary spermatocyte divides mitotically to produce secondary spermatocyte. So primary spermatocyte is a myocyte, the cell which will undergo meiosis. So this is also wrong. Secondary spermatocyte through their second meiotic division produce haploid spermatids. True. Spermatids produce spermatozoa through mitosis. No, this is also wrong. Spermatids transform into spermatozoa by spermiogenesis or spermatolysis. Okay, this is correct. C and E are correct. So select the correct statement, C and E, second one. Next, select the incorrect statement with reference to RH grouping. Okay, incorrect. Erythroblastosis fetalis is a condition observed having fetus with RH negative. No, here fetus should be RH positive, mother should be RH negative. So A is wrong. Select the incorrect. So how many option is having A? So I have to eliminate second one, I have to eliminate fourth one also. So I have to check the B. RH antigen is observed in RBC in majority of human beings, and E is telling erythroblastosis fetalis can be avoided by administering anti-RH antibody to the mother immediately after the delivery of the first child, not the second child. So it is wrong. So E is wrong. So answer is third one. Next, select the set of fish which belong to the class Osteichthyes, bony fish. Osteichthyes means bony fish. Okay, so here sawfish, devilfish, cuttlefish, starfish. So it is flying fish. True. Exocetus, angelfish, angelfish, pterophyllum, and fighting fish betta. So this is the answer. Answer is fourth one. Evolution of human appears parallel to the progressive development of brain and language skill. As such, the evolution of individual species in the sequence of their appearance is okay. So we know that Ramapithecus, first is Dryopithecus, then Ramapithecus. So Ramapithecus should be first, and only one option says Ramapithecus first. But anyway, we will check. Ramapithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, Homo sapiens. This is true. Here Ramapithecus and Neanderthal, no. Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Ramapithecus will not come here, So answer is here 1. The specific receptor for neurotransmitter in a synapse are present on. Okay, if you will see the synapse, the association of two neurons, this is the presynaptic membrane and this is the postsynaptic membrane, right? So inside the presynaptic membrane, there are synaptic vesicle filled with the neurotransmitter, and here you will be having the receptors. So on the postsynaptic membrane. So answer is second one. Finally, match the column, respiratory volume and their capacity. So pick the easy one. Easy one is tidal volume. Tidal volume is 500 ml. So how many options says D is 2? So eliminate straightway third one and fourth one. So D should be 2. Now A3, no need to check. You have to check B and C. Now if you see the residual volume, it is 1 or 4. Residual volume is what? After a forceful expiration, the amount of air left in your lungs is called as residual volume. It cannot be 2500 ml. It is this one. So B should be 4. So answer is 1. A3, B4, C1 and D2. So answer is 1. So this is all about the paper. So the paper was, the overall feedback is what? The paper was easy and direct, but the catch is what? In many questions, the find out the correct and incorrect one is there. So that is the student finds little bit difficult, okay, because by seeing this question directly you cannot answer unless and until you have to spend some time to read the question carefully. So this is all about the paper of zoology. Thank you.